The Price of Tomorrow, Why Deflation is Key to an Abundant Future by Jeff Booth. The natural state of the market is not inflation, but deflation. Technology makes the growth in productivity exponential, and this should not be feared because those productivity gains, they should be flowing towards you and me, giving us more for less. And anything that prevents deflation is not an economical system, it's not a political system, but a control system that steals from you. Today, we're going to dig into the price of tomorrow. Hi and welcome to the BookLab. I'm Björn, and today we're going to talk about the price of tomorrow. So what is deflation? It's when you get more for your money. Jeff Booth's thesis is that the natural state of the market is deflation. Market incentives forces companies to seek out any productivity gain that can be had to make their product cheaper to produce. Companies that can produce cheap goods can have a more competitive pricing. In the end, the consumer gets more for less. If this is the case, and currently we live in this extreme technological boom, so it's just natural to ask yourself, if technology is making everything cheaper, how come my life has become more expensive? Quote, on the one side, we have this incredible deflationary force driven by technology, and on the other side, we have a force trying to stop it. That force is the money printing machine. Today, the biggest movers in financial markets are not looking at the growth potential of a company, but the direction of central bankers and governments, and if the money printer will go brrrr. After the pandemic, this was more obvious than ever. Just look at all the stimulus that was sent into the system. Today, the most reliable indicator if the stock markets will and the housing market will go up is the global M2, which is the Federal Reserve's assessment of the total money supply in the world. When more money is created, you can be almost certain that your stocks and your housing prices will go up. And this newly minted currency and cash needs a new home because every person with half a brain understands that the worst thing you can hold is cash. Especially when it's actively being debased. It's like holding a melting ice cube, so to speak. So this money flows towards harder assets that are at least has some scarcity, like housing and stocks, which is of course adding a monetary premium on top of the utility value of those assets. In the end, numbers go up. Quote, we should ask ourselves whether those same assets would have gone up over the past 20 years if there hadn't been for $185 trillion of new capital injected into the system. End quote. I came to this book because I noticed a sudden rise in living cost a while back, and you've probably done so too. I've always enjoyed saving, I've done it most of my life, more or less, but realizing that the money that I've saved only give me about half of the freedom and choice that it would have given me 5 years ago or so. Well, it feels like it was a really rude awakening for myself, and I wanted to find out more. I also noticed among the younger generation that there was a loss of hope. I hear people talk about not wanting to start families, and I realized that this decision is mostly fear-based. People are fearful that they not will be able to provide for a family. They are fearful of war and catastrophe, and they have a growing conviction that life provides more suffering than joy. This is what gave me reason to seek out the underlying mechanics of the financial system and eventually led me to this book. If you recognize yourself in this situation, then this is a book for you. You will find depth and nuance here. It's frightening, for sure, but it's also a hopeful book. The book covers more than the debasement of currency and the depth-based economical system that we live in, but the main theme of the book is the deflationary effects of technology. The book also talks about how this whole depth-based system leads to polarization, us versus them narratives that can easily be hijacked by populist politicians and lead us astray. It talks about the future of job markets, equality, and wars. And I want to share a quote on that as well to get a taste of it. Quote, most of the jobs today exist because of waste in the system due to information asymmetry. Once the waste is handled, there won't be many jobs for humans. So if the conclusion is that jobs are not needed anymore, then the question becomes, how can we live in peace under those conditions? And you can read more about this in this book. I am a tech optimist, and I've always been, and I wanted to understand why the huge progress that we see in technology haven't trickled down to improving our lives as much as I thought it would. And this book gave me some great insights to why we see all this financial distress in the world, in our country, among our friends and loved ones. I really recommend this book if you want to understand the dynamic relationship between the debt-based economy and exponential technology. It's a great and insightful book, and it's quite short as well and accessible to new readers. I have a playlist that I'm going to put up right here somewhere with more books on a similar theme. I think some of them will be Same as Ever, The Psychology of Money, The Bitcoin Standard. I'm also reading Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations now, if you want to get deeper into the topic of financial systems. And don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoy the content. It helps me reach more people. It actually really means a lot. And if you come back to this channel for the second time, or maybe you've been following BookLab for long, say hi in the comments, because I would like to interact more with you guys and get to know the people that actually watch this content. I'm back next week with a video about why we should read more history books. I'm continuing to read Will Durant's fantastic series, The Story of Civilization. I'm on book 5 now, actually, and I have some takeaways from that, and also just some insights into why history books matters. Happy reading, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye.